anyone could look at my life before my wife and say that now I am missing.
For years, millions of viewers knew them as the Alaskan Bush people, a tight-knit family or wolf pack that chose the wild over the modern world. They presented a picture of unshakable unity, facing down the harsh Alaskan wilderness together. But behind the scenes of the hit reality show, the bonds that held the Brown family together were reportedly fracturing under the weight of fame, money, and deep-seated resentments. While rumors of conflict swirled for years, Noah Brown, the family's quiet inventor, largely stayed out of the public drama. He was the stoic son, focused on his gadgets, his wife Rain, and their 2 sons. But in recent years, a series of shocking reports, social media explosions, and alleged legal filings have shattered that silence, placing Noah at the very center of the family's implosion. This isn't a simple story of family squabbles. It's a look into the collapse of a reality TV dynasty, fueled by accusations of betrayal that are more shocking than anything seen on the show. We're going to break down the key conflicts that have reportedly pushed Noah to his breaking point, from financial deception to a heartbreaking fallout with the siblings he grew up with. A quick heads up before we start: the information we're about to discuss is based on public reports, online speculation, and alleged legal documents that have been widely circulated. This is a messy and painful family situation, and our goal is to present the claims as they've been reported to give context to a drama that is still very much unfolding. To get to the heart of Noah's story, you have to go back to the lie that started it all. The entire brand of Alaskan Bush people was built on authenticity. They were a family supposedly so isolated they barely saw outsiders. But that image took a massive hit in 2014, when a grand jury in Juneau indicted 6 members of the family, including Patriarch Billy, Matriarch Ami, and Noah himself, on fraud charges. The case revolved around Alaska's Permanent Fund Dividend, or PFD, a yearly payment to legal residents. The state alleged the Browns had illegally collected these dividends for years by claiming they lived in Alaska when they actually weren't in the state long enough to qualify. In the end, Billy and his son Joshua, Bam Bam, pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of unsworn falsification. They had to pay back thousands of dollars, were banned from ever applying for a PFD again, and were sentenced to 30 days in jail. The judge presiding over the case didn't mince words, calling PFD fraud theft from every resident in the state of Alaska. For a family that sold themselves as the ultimate Alaskans, this was a humiliating public takedown. While Noah's case was ultimately dismissed as part of the plea deal, being named in the indictment was reportedly a source of major embarrassment. It was the first clear sign that the wolf pack narrative wasn't the whole truth, and it planted the seeds for the mistrust and resentment that would later tear the family apart. One of the most public fractures in the Brown family involves the oldest son, Matt Brown. Matt was the adventurous, charismatic leader of the siblings, but his life took a tragic turn with struggles of addiction that became public. He entered rehab in 2016 and again in 2018. That same year, 2 different women accused him of sexual assault. Though the district attorney declined to prosecute due to insufficient evidence, the allegations were serious, and Matt was quietly removed from the show. Estranged from the family, Matt later took to social media with some explosive accusations of his own. In a series of raw videos, he claimed the show's production team had provided his family with drugs and that his late father, Billy, had controlled all the money from the show, leaving him with next to nothing. For Noah, a man who values stability and control, Matt's public spiral was reportedly a nightmare. Where some fans saw a man crying for help, sources suggest Noah saw a brother who brought shame to the family name and refused to take responsibility for his own actions. While Noah has never publicly slammed Matt, the oldest brother's chaotic journey stands in stark contrast to the quiet, family-focused life Noah was trying to build. The situation with Matt reportedly drove a deep wedge between him and the rest of the family, and the bond between the 2 brothers was seemingly another casualty of the family's public life. It might seem strange to talk about the late Billy Brown in a story about family feuds, but according to reports, Noah's relationship with his father was incredibly complicated. Billy was the visionary, the man who created the wolf pack and sold that dream to the world. He was the unquestioned leader of the family. But that leadership was allegedly a form of total control. Echoing Matt's claims, reports suggest Billy held the purse strings tightly, managing all the money the family earned from the show. This created a dynamic where the children, even as adults, remained dependent on him. Noah, the independent inventor, reportedly bristled under this control. He loved his father, but he also saw him as a puppeteer who put the show's narrative above his own children's happiness. Billy's choices, like the one that led to the PFD fraud scandal, had consequences for everyone, and Noah was tired of paying the price for a vision that wasn't his. When Billy died suddenly in 2021, the family lost its powerful center. For Noah, his father's death was likely a moment of deep grief, but reports suggest it was also a moment of liberation, a chance to finally step out of his father's shadow and live life on his own terms. The family's reality is clearly far more complex than what we saw on TV. We're about to get into the most explosive part of this story, the conflict that reportedly turned brother against sister. What are your thoughts on these claims so far? Does this change how you view the Browns? Drop a comment below. And if you're fascinated by the story behind the reality stars, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. The most shocking and painful chapter in this saga is Noah's reported fallout with his youngest sister, Rain Brown. The conflict allegedly reached a boiling point after their father's death. According to bombshell reports, Noah and his wife, Rain, took the unbelievable step of filing for a restraining order against Rain in August 2024. Though the temporary order was denied, the court filings contained terrifying allegations that laid the family's war bare. Noah reportedly filed out of fear for his family's safety, accusing Rain of stalking, making violent threats, and causing them substantial emotional distress. The specific claims cited in the reports are chilling. Noah alleged that during filming, Rain once told him, "My life would be so much easier if you were dead, if only I wouldn't get caught." He also accused her of substance abuse. This wasn't just sibling drama anymore, it was a desperate plea for protection. In the filings, Noah reportedly asked that Rain be forced to stay 1,000 feet away from his home, his car, and his children's school. The sister he once knew was, in his eyes, gone, replaced by someone he feared. The situation reportedly caused a rift with his mother, Ami, as well. According to the same unconfirmed reports about the restraining order, Noah claimed that Rain had offered their mother drugs and that Ami was enabling her youngest daughter's behavior. The fact that Noah has recently been seen taking his mother home from the hospital suggests their relationship may not be completely broken, but the accusations paint a picture of a son who felt his mother chose to side against him in the family's darkest moment. The story of the Brown family has turned into a cautionary tale. The wolf pack, that once charmed millions with its simple life in the wilderness, has been torn apart by fame, money, and trauma. The conflicts with Matt, Billy, and most tragically, Rain, seem to have pushed Noah Brown to a point of no return. These aren't just storylines. They are painful, personal wounds that have spilled out into the public eye. The recent news of Noah and his wife Rain's separation in early 2025 is another devastating piece of the puzzle, showing a man whose world has been completely upended by the constant stress. It's a heartbreaking situation for a family that once seemed unbreakable. Noah, the quiet inventor, appears to have made a choice to build a new life of peace and stability for his children, even if it meant walking away from the family that made him famous. The Alaskan Bush People was a show about surviving the wilderness. But in the end, it seems the hardest part of their journey was surviving each other. What do you think of this family's public breakdown? Is Noah right to create distance, or is this just a tragedy with no one to blame? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that go beyond the headlines.